I have been wanting to buy a EFG for a long time, but I don't have that many devices to manage and I don't have that high-speed internet. I couldn't persuade myself to spend $2,000 on a luxury device. But because I waited for a long time for my UX3 Pro to receive the BGP upgrade, it still doesn't have it. And several days ago, I saw a forum post that people have successfully upgraded the EFG's memory. So these two things trigger me to purchase a EFG out of my own pocket. First surprise, it doesn't come with rails. The EFG is pretty heavy, so I do worry about without rails whether the fragile ears can support this unit. You can see after mounted, in fact the EFG has the exact same depth as the USW Aggregation Pro. So it seems it doesn't really need rails. Let's see whether it can hold up for long term. About noises, yes, the two additional power supplies fans, they are pretty noisy, but it doesn't concern me at all because I mounted in my server room, so I don't really care about noises. I know currently the software for EFG is still not very matured. There are still a lot of issues, so I will put it in my lab environment for a while. Only when I feel comfortable, I will make it the main gateway for my production system. For people who purchase EFG, most likely they already have a existing UniFi system. So the very first thing people will do is to migrate their configurations from their existing gateway to EFG. Let me do it now using a UDM Pro in my lab environment. In the right side, I show you the lab environment for the UDM Pro. So you can see I have a gateway, two switches, one access point. I do have two VLANs configured, one SSID, and in security, I do have some custom firewall policies. In routing, I have several net rules. Now, if I try to migrate this gateway to the left side EFG, let's see whether I will receive any issue, whether the process will be very smooth. Let me start it. Let me go to settings, control plane, backups, then take a backup now. Okay, done. Now we have a latest backup for this gateway, which we are going to migrate from. Now in the left side EFG, let me go to the same settings, control plane, backup, let's say restore. Here I need to choose the source console, so the system we are going to migrate from. So I need to select this lab UDM Pro, and it's already the latest backup timestamp. I want to say restore all applications and settings, and here I need to provide the UI account password, restore. Fast forward. Okay, restore is done. You can see the three UniFi devices are still showing offline status, and in the right side they are still connected to the original UDM Pro and they are still adopted to the original UDM Pro, right? You can see this USW Pro Max 24 is the root switch connected to the gateway. Let me remove this cable and connect it to the EFG. Let's see whether the three devices can be automatically adopted to the new gateway. Okay, great. You can see right after I connect the cable, the three devices are being adopted. Then in the right side, the access point is still showing green color as adopted to the original gateway. But in the left side, you can see it's already re-adopted to the new one, right? Okay, so now you see the status is refreshed. Now we are all good. In the left side, let's check whether the configurations are really migrated. Let me go to settings. Here for Wi-Fi, I see this SSID. And for network, yes, I see the two VLANs. For security, yes, I see the custom firewall policies. For routing, yes, I see the net rules. The migration is smooth, is completely successful. So I'm so happy about that. The reason is I worry about, okay, if I move this EFG to the production environment, I have so many UniFi devices. If I have to reset all of them so that they can be adopted to the new gateway, that will be a lot of work. Now it seems I don't need to worry about that. The devices will be automatically adopted. Before I move on, let me try one last thing. Because now the EFG is in the lab environment, I may have need to switch between these two gateways from time to time. Let me simply reconnect the switch cable back to the original gateway. Let's see whether I need to do anything, whether the UniFi devices can be automatically readopted back to the original gateway. So whether I can simply just by replugging the cable to simply switch between the two gateways. Let me do that. Okay, I have reconnected the cable. You can see in the right side, the devices are being readopted without any manual action from my side. Let's give it some time. You can see the three devices are showing green in the right side and showing offline in the left side. Perfect. So I do not need to do anything else. Everything is automatic. Let me simply replug the cable one more time back to EFG. Okay. As you can see, the three devices were successfully readopted back to the UFG. After the back and forth readoption, the three poor UniFi devices have been adopted by the two families so many times. Okay, now I'm finally done with this testing. I'm so happy about the flawless process, about the gateway migration process. Okay, move on. Let's talk about the port mapping. So you know EFG has 6 ports, 2 2.5 gigabit GBE, 2 SFP+, and 2 SFP28. By default, it has 2 WAN ports. If I go to the port manager, if I click on any of these 2 WAN ports, for example this one, you can see I can map the 6 ports to WAN or LAN or disabled. So I can freely do the mapping. That's great. That means I can have unlimited ways to configure the 6 ports. Perfect. Then the next thing I want to find out is about link aggregation. Because for example, if I want to configure this 5 and 6 ports, they are both 25 gigabit ports. So I go to port 5, I change it from 1.2 to LAN. Apply changes, then I go to the port 5 again. So see now the menu is changed, right? Because it's not one port anymore. Then I go to menu. For operation, instead of switching, I say aggregation. Then yes, I can configure aggregation. Aggregate port 5 and port 6. Apply changes. Now if I want, I can have a 50 gigabit support for inter-VLAN routing. That's exactly what I want to achieve. Okay, I'm happy with port mapping and aggregation support for the EFG. Then let's talk about the power supplies. In the device information, you can see it has 2 power supply units. For each one, the maximum supported power is 150 watt. And now they are both working and they are distributing the power consumption. They are not working in the primary standby mode. No, they are equal. They are working in parallel. Of course, if I pull out either of them, the other one will take over. That's the high availability when it comes to power. Okay, let's move on. An important change in EFG when it comes to software is support about SSL inspection. So if I go to settings, security, you can see this tab, deep inspection, which is not available in, let's say, UDM Pro. So if I click on it, see, I can enable the next AI inspection. So I can set it to simple, advanced. This will be something I will explore. I will post videos once I have something for sure. Okay, this is a simple video just for my first impressions after spending a lot of money on this device for my home network. Okay, thanks for watching.